Roll camera. Mics up. And action. Live from Australia, streaming around the world. The most cinematic podcast of your week awaits. This is Bottomless Popcorn with your host, Morgan Brown.
Hey everyone, I'm Morgan. This is another episode of Bottomless Popcorn. On today's episode, we have a really good friend of mine who I met when I was working at Disney on Ice. His name is Jonathan Roots, or some of you might know him as Naco. He's on today to talk to me about some of his favorite films. He's pretty into his horror, and he's very into his superhero films. So I'm really excited to speak to him today about his 4 favorite films and a few others in between, because I know he's got some really cool opinions and stories on his movies. So let's get straight into it and chat to Naco.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Roots, aka Naco. Well, everyone knows me by Naco. My last movie was Venom 2, Let It Be Carnage. I enjoyed it. I went out with my friends. It's a really good movie. I recommend it.
Very good, nice one. You're over in the UK at the moment, so you've all just been to the cinema last night, but you're about to head back out on tour this weekend, right?
Well, I'm going to tour on Tuesday. The show was delayed, so
yeah,
we go that Tuesday in Birmingham, and then we start working the next day. It's gonna be an all-nighter. We have 2 shows on Wednesday. Oh no, not Wednesday. Thursday. We have all Wednesday to work.
Got a busy week coming up. You're not going to have too much time to watch any more movies after this.
Well, no. Hopefully, the next one will be. I think it's in 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks' time is Eternals.
The next Marvel film. Yeah.
Manchester or something, or Exeter. If we stay in the same hotel, we have a cinema right, like literally across the street in the hotel.
The absolute dream. We're never near hotels when we're on tour. It's the worst. I was going to talk pretty quickly about how you and I know each other before we get into it. So you and I first met working together on a tour with Disney on Ice, and have remained quite good friends since then, and shared a bit of a passion for movies and cinema, I would think.
Yeah.
Not particularly the same type of movies. You're more into the horrors, and I am very much avoid those at all costs. But you hate horror movies. It's the worst. They're not my favorite.
Which one was the movie that I dragged you to the cinema to watch, or in the room? Horror movie.
There's in Brisbane, I remember. Was it like Annabelle 2 or 3 or something like that?
It wasn't like the creation of Annabelle. The one is like in the old days, like they have like a farm.
Yeah, and it's a young group of girls, and I remember just feeling sick watching it. It was just disgusting.
I believe you when you said, after I saw that movie with you, I believe when you said you don't like horror movies.
Yeah, not for me. I tell you what though, like one of your movies is one that has come up. We'll talk about it a bit later, but a few people have brought it up, and I haven't seen it yet. I've seen one of its sequels, but I think I'm coming around, and I feel like I might have to eventually watch it, because a lot of people talk about this movie being really good. So I'm excited to talk about that one with you when we bring it up. But we're going to head to the movies today, Narco. We're going to go watch your favorite film. But we're not going to go to the movies, and we're not going to not stop at the candy bar while we're here. So what kind of food and drink and snacks are you going to pick up here while we're at the movies?
The same as always. Large butter salt popcorn and a large Coca-Cola Zero, and if they have a chance, a large hot dog.
Very good. And
always. I think that's the whole reason I go to the movies, to be honest. It's just
the snacks.
Well, in Mexico, because they do a really nice butter. You know, that's typical in the States or here in the UK. You get like salt popcorn. I don't know if in Australia.
Or sweet.
And you go, if you want butter, you go and put some like melted butter.
Yep.
I don't like that. That makes the popcorn soggy.
Yes.
And horrible. In Mexico, they cook it with the butter. So when it comes out, you have salt, normal salt, and then you have butter popcorn, and they give it to you. It's already prepared. It's already
cooked that way.
A lot of people even order Uber Eats or for. I done it. My mom does it. One
The
of
popcorn's
reasons I
good.
do it.
It is. Australia is the same. And I think the same as what you were saying there. Australia is kind of like just salty popcorn. So I always found it really weird when we got on tour and people would talk about like sweet popcorn or sweet and salty popcorn. Yeah. I'm like, no, it's just salty. I don't know what you mean about this sweet
The matter of fact that like when I went to see Venom, one of my friends have the mixed one. They mixed
who
it
was
up.
that? Was that Seagrave or Aaron?
I think it was Seagrave.
Yuck.
I think
Sort about Seagrave, yeah.
It's like salt and sweet at the same time. I was like, no. Well, I don't know. Me personally, I don't like it.
I've had some friends when I ask this question, they get, the Maltesers, the chocolates, and the popcorn, and then they add it in. Yeah, or they add it into the popcorn and like mix it around, so when they pick up a handful, it's a bit of everything. And I don't like the idea of that either. I think that's a bit too much for me. When you go to the movies, do you like try and go to like a specific theater type? Like, do you go for the big screen, or do you like the recliner, or do you go for the like the one where they bring in the food and drinks to you while you're watching the film?
When I'm in Mexico, there's this massive. It's supposed to be the biggest cinema or company cinema in the world called Cinépolis. That's like it's Mexican, but it's all South America, some parts of Europe, the States. Even in the Philippines, they have it. And they have like two. You have like the normal cinema, like just like a regular one. You go in, big, massive. And then you have the VIP one. Mm-hmm. That if you pay just imagine it's like, what is it, like $5 a ticket. For the VIP, it's like $8.
Yeah.
And then you have those kind of like little big sofas with like a table, like like in the planes that you sometimes when you're like at the end of the row, the table comes up from the armrest. Yeah, there's something like that, and then you can recline and everything. Just press the button, and the guy comes and takes your order.
Nice.
It's not everywhere. There's one near my house. Where I prefer those ones. There's less people, especially now with all the stuff that's happening.
You'd like to be in a less crowded room, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, what last night you saw Venom? What was it a big crowd when you saw that one last night, or what was it like?
No, we were trying to see the one in the evening. Yeah, and it was full. So we opted for the one in the afternoon, like 2:00, 1:50 or something like that, and that was like just a quarter of the capacity. Okay.
Yeah,
and but they have it like, I mean, if you go with your friends and you go 4 people, they will give you 4 seats next to each other, but then they will have like 2 empty, and then the next person or something like that will separate or people or like groups.
Yeah, that's how I've got it set up over here at the minute too. It's they block off a couple of seats either side of your group. That
Mexico is just like two available, 2 disabled, but like not available. 2 on, 2 not. 2. So it doesn't matter if you come in a group of 4, you're going to be separated. Like you cannot ask them to say, oh, let me put 4 people in here because it's against the law, or like it's weird because they have these really strong restrictions locally in the state, but the whole country, the border is open and everyone can come in, and you don't need to do any masks and everything like that.
Yeah.
So there's no quarantine to come in. So it's kind of like,
it's just bizarre, like one extreme to the other. Yeah, I know what you mean. Can you remember the first movie you ever saw at the cinema as a child?
Not 100%. But I think the first one, my dad took me to see Lion King.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Like the cartoon, yeah.
Yeah. And we actually went and saw that one together in Sydney. We were there.
Yeah, the remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And like, that's cool. And now we kind of like, you continue to work on the shows where that's part of it too. So that must be pretty special. Hey, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's a movie that you remember more for the experience? You remember the experience around seeing it, or seeing this movie more than the actual movie?
I don't know. I feel like, okay, like they have like the experience of being in there watching the movie. I think not this new trilogy, like the trilogy that just came out of Star Wars, was like the Revenge of the Sith, I think, like the third one of the second trilogy. Like I remember, like I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I wanted to watch it. I remember going with some of the FCP we were in Den Bosch or Den Haag, something like that, but we couldn't find a cinema that because it was a matinee or something like that. Or not matinee, like a premiere. It was just coming out. So we have to take a train to a different town to go and see it. And I was more excited because it was Star Wars, and it was the first time you're going to see Darth Vader being born as what we know it in Star Wars. So seeing everyone dress up, seeing like everyone queuing, everyone like, I think I never had that experience before. Like I've been to like premieres and other movies. Yeah. Like I know like you have like a lot of premieres and like pictures with famous people and stuff like that. I never had that, but for me, like
I don't have a photo with Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth has a photo with me, okay?
But just that experience to see everyone excited because they wanted to see. Because I remember when that part came out, everyone just went like nuts in the
I didn't think you were gonna have an answer for that one, but I was gonna say one that I think we shared together was both the Australia tours that you and I have been on together. We were in Melbourne when the film came out both times, so we saw the two Tom Holland Spider-Man films in the IMAX theater, and seeing a movie like that on a screen so big was amazing. And I remember going with a few of our friends each time, you know, like it was on two different tours, so it's different groups of people each time, but I remember we were kind of the constants. We went both times, and seeing their reactions, especially the second time we went, kind of knowing what it was like and seeing their reactions. I'll never forget Connor's reaction actually walking in and just his very thick English accent, looking up going, man, the screen goes all the way to the roof. And just him looking up and like, wow. Like, and like our friend Aaron was also there that time. And I think Isaac came with us as well. It was really
that was D30, right?
Yeah, man, that was the one. Yeah. When we were in Australia, 2019. Yep. Yeah, that was the one. And then we went with 34 for the first one.
Yeah, with Primo, Nathan, Jules.
I think we had John Lucas,
Linley.
Yeah, it was a big group of us. And I think that one I think was a bit more hectic because the second one we saw, we went just on a day off. But for the first one, we went from load in and then literally all caught taxis or ran up the street to get to this theater because it was we probably shouldn't have booked that session, but we didn't think we'd get it in otherwise. So I'm glad we did. It was good. If movies are like based on books, novels, I know you're kind of a fan of the Marvel and the DC ones. Do you take notice? Do you read the source material, the books, the comic books and stuff like that?
Yes. Well, like before the movies came out, some of the comics or like graphic novels and stuff like that, I read them. I'm a geek in that sense. I do have in my house like a lot of comics, like graphic novels, manga, like stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
So, sometimes annoys me when the movie goes in a different direction. When I'm like seeing it and I'm like, no, it's not. And the comic is different. It's the same with the books. I read all the Lord of the Rings, the Lord of the Rings, and I read Game of Thrones, for example. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Do you have a favorite book or comic that you've seen come out on the big screen as a film?
I personally liked how you say it, like Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Because it's not as the same. Actually, we saw it like one of my friends, my stage man, had never seen those movies. He watched like 2-3 days ago here at the house.
Andrew had never seen him.
No.
What?
I think he haven't seen even the Christopher Nolan trilogy.
Andrew, what are you doing?
I know, it's weird. I don't know what he's probably like just listen to country music in the States and that's it. So, I don't know. It's just like, and you don't have to be a geek to, or like, it's something that everyone goes and see. It was like, oh, I don't. There's some people that say, oh, I don't like superhero movies. I never, like, I don't read the comics. I'm not a geek, blah blah blah. But they still go with the friends to watch. I don't know, Spider-Man in a movie in the cinema, or like Iron Man, or Man of Steel or something. It's just it's a movie. It's a blockbuster movie. They're never gonna win an Oscar or something like that. But it's a blockbuster movie. It's like that's what you do.
Yeah.
So I like that movie, Batman versus Superman, because it took out parts from the graphic novel, for example, The Dark Knight Returns for the Batman part, and some part of the other comic. I don't want to spoil it because I know people didn't like it that much and people refused to watch it, but like the Doomsday part of the comic. So it's kind of like mixing up together. And it did, in my eyes, it did a better job than a lot of other more popular comic books, superhero movies that literally have nothing to do with the storyline on comics. That's something that's why I appreciate a lot of DC movies.
Sure.
Especially like this Dark Knight, not Dark Knight, like Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel and stuff like that. Yeah. They try to. That's my humble opinion. I know my other people over there might be like, listen in the future, listen to this, and gonna be like, that Naco is crazy.
But I knew that before he told me about movies.
It's a touchy subject.
No, it is, like, man. It is.
Marvel, you can put it in a category of like, don't talk to about religion or politics with someone else, because
there's some pretty
I have some people that they
fans
like,
about that kind of stuff. We'll jump into your first movie trailer today, and it is for The Conjuring.
Well, I'm a horror fan. Everyone that knows me knows I love horror. I watch paranormal stuff in YouTube and in the internet. I read horror books, audiobooks, and every single time that a horror movie is in a cinema, is my priority to go and watch that
one. Yeah.
So there's not a lot of movies that I can like jump or get scared or something like that. Like, I'm passionate with it. Like, I read everything that comes out. And there was a long time. Sorry about the words. A lot of the movies were shit. You will go and watch a horror movie and you spend more time laughing at the movie. Like, you feel like it's a comedy movie. I was a big fan of like the investigators, and I read it in Wikipedia and a couple of like in the internet and stuff like that about them, and got really hooked into it. And I liked it because that movie, after like a couple, and I think a lot of people will agree with me, after like at least 5 to 10 years, when this movie came out, a lot of people jumped in that movie. Something that it didn't happen with a lot of the other movies. So it does have like, it's good to have like that kind of horror suspense came back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people keep doing other movies, and honestly, it doesn't have any common sense in because they do literally the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. And like, I'm sitting over there and I was like, if I was in their feet, I would never do what they're doing. Like, why would you do that?
Yes.
I'm like, it doesn't make sense. And then they're not scary. But like Conjuring, for me, I feel like that from that movie, it came out to like the root of what is a horror movie, in my personal opinion. Like, that's why I really liked it. And all the other movies, okay, it's not the same as the first one, like Conjuring 2 and Conjuring 3. Like, for example, the last one that came out, everyone criticized it because there was not a lot of jumps and stuff like that. I'm like, but it wasn't designed to be that. If you actually know the story, It was them helping this guy to don't get that. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's completely different to the other first two movies. If you don't know the story, because they are based on these investigators, like they based on real facts. Don't know. I don't know if it's real, like the ghosts and stuff like that, but at least the investigation part of it is real. So you have to see the movie in those eyes. You cannot just they try to make it as legit as they can.
Yeah, it's that. So the third one is the one of this trilogy that I've seen, but yourself now, and I think two other people have used the Conjuring on their list. So I'm getting close, but I still haven't quite brought myself to watching it. But I'm coming onto it, man. I think I'm going to do it. I'll probably do it before the year's out. I do sound.
I recommend it, especially now there's Halloween, like it's spooky season.
Yeah,
maybe I want two little dogs to protect you.
They wouldn't do anything. I looked up a little bit of trivia on the film that I thought you might be interested in. So the real life Perrin family visited the set of the film and just really commented on how this is the exact vibe and feel that they got from the original house, which I thought was pretty crazy that they were able to replicate it so well and create that feeling for the family that the film's based on. But there's another bit here that I found quite interesting, and I didn't know it because I guess I never would have suspected that would be something you would have to say if you thought that was what's going on in your house. But the story is set in Rhode Island, and the state of Rhode Island does not require home sellers to disclose documents of the location and the home's history of like criminal or paranormal activity. This is why the parents were unaware of all the events that took place in the house before they ever got there in the first place. Would hope that if you knew that was the kind of activity going on in the house, you'd go, nah, this one's not for me. I'll wait for the next house to become available, I think.
I mean, it depends on the person. Like, I'd probably be excited or something like that.
Oh, you would love it, I'm sure.
My parents would be like, this is silly. It doesn't exist. Like, you just, it's cheap. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
I know this is I know some people, like in Mexico, for example, where my dad's hotel is in, like by the beach. There was a couple, friend of my cousin, they bought a house just not far from the hotel. It's really nice. It's a really nice house. It was an old lady that she's too old. She didn't want to be there alone, and she sold it. They bought it really, and they were doing renovations and everything. And then rumor is that one of the employers that was renovating the house at night went in with the girl. He was depressed because it was during the pandemic. There was not a lot of work, stuff like that. And the girl went
this is recent, this story.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. The girl went to buy cigarettes. When the girl came back, the guy hung himself, killed himself in the master room. So now that this happens, then a couple of months later, they continue renovating because they bought the house. They used all the life savings to buy the house. But then the wife was like, I just don't want to be there. I didn't know it. I went into the house with my cousin and stuff like that. They were showing me. It's a really cool house. It's just a block away from the beach. Have a massive swimming pool at the back, have like a barbecue area. And I do understand people, like the wife was saying, like, it's not the fact that probably going to be haunted or something like that. It's just the fact that something like that happened. So imagine that I'm by myself cooking or something, and then it's going to be in my head going like, I'm going to
happen in the other room down the hall.
I'm going to see something. Not that it's actually there. It's just the imagination is going to be like, oh, that happened there. So I can understand when people don't want to buy a house because it's haunted or murder happening there, something like that. Because it's not the fact that there's going to be a ghost or something, but I feel like your imagination is going to be like, oh, this happened in the kitchen. Every time you walk in the kitchen to get a glass of milk or make a sandwich, you're going to be thinking about it, going like, oh, there's probably a puddle of blood over here, or the body was over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be gross. Yeah.
I don't think like a creepy old lady ghost will crawl out on your bed and pull you leg. That's.
I mean, I would certainly hope not if I was a homeowner. I'll move on. I got some more questions for you. What movie do you think has the best soundtrack, like actual songs? And what movie has the best?
Well, you have to be more specific in actual songs, like score Or
No,
like,
so two ways, yeah. So songs like radio music, and then has the best original score, so like orchestral music.
okay, songs.
Yes.
I personally, the Armageddon soundtrack, because
Oh, very good.
that album was done by Aerosmith,
Yes.
and so it is like it is their songs for the
Okay.
movie.
We'll come back to
That
that
was
one
a
because
really,
that's one of your movies too. So we'll talk
yeah,
about that one a little bit more in a sec.
that is a really good album. Like, I know it's all like 1999 and stuff like that, but or
Yeah.
98, I think, 98 or 99. But like the album, because now most of the movies that have like those songs is like various, like a lot of different artists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes some songs you don't hear it in the movie, and it has nothing to do.
With the story, it doesn't
Yeah,
mean
it's just
anything. Yeah.
it's just
It's
there
just
to
there.
have a famous artist in a,
Yeah.
but like the Armageddon one was like legit. Every single song that you have there was in the movie.
It's good.
And score is between two.
Yeah.
I think it's the entire Lord of the Rings soundtrack,
Sure.
or Hans Zimmer, the Dark Knights, like the
Yes.
trilogy. Well,
Okay.
any of the the Hans Zimmer. Like I do follow him in Spotify.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of his score music.
Music. Yeah.
Those really good
It
score
is.
music. So
What do you think is the best looking film? So you could answer that two ways. So all the camera moves are amazing, or best looking as in everything within the frame is amazing, like the locations, the costume, the design of the film. What do you think the best looking film is?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Okay.
I mean, I did New Zealand with
Yeah.
the show, and I rented a camper van, like the RVs, to travel the North and South Island, and it's literally 90% of what you see in the movie, like all the mountains, like the everything, like the scenic.
Yeah.
You
It's
see
all
it in New
there.
Zealand. It was filmed in New Zealand. Like it's,
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any other movie that is like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like in like in the frame, like beautiful, like it is that, like it's a beautiful
Yeah.
movie. The way that was filmed, I think for me, the one that took me by surprise, that I liked it and I really liked it, was the Blair Witch Project.
Oh,
Because
okay.
that was,
Yeah.
for me, was the first time. Well, it wasn't the first time. There was actually another movie, indie movie, that didn't come out in the cinema, called Tape 849. There's another horror movie,
Yeah.
like really low
It's like
budget.
that found footage look,
Yeah.
that aesthetic. Yeah.
Found. But the first one that came out officially as a first movie that came out like that was the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, it just changed.
Yeah.
I know people that, because they never seen a movie like that, they will get dizzy in the movie. So I think like that idea of doing it like that, it was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Like it
clever.
put some more horror into the story, like into the environment. Like,
Yeah, absolutely it did. What do you think is actually, before we move on, so we did New Zealand, so for like Lord of the Rings, did you go to the Hobbit Village?
yeah, I've been twice. One before the Hobbit movie,
Yeah.
because the first time I went, it was just the Lord of the Rings, so they have it in one. They have it set up in one way, and then after the Hobbit, like recently, the last time I went, they added some more stuff for the Hobbit movie.
Yeah.
I think they added like a couple of extra houses or Hobbit holes.
Yeah. They have the bar, the dragon bar, where you get to try the cider or the beer.
Yeah, that wasn't there for the boat, for like even for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like that was actually pretty cool. Like you cross the bridge, you walk into like the little plaza area,
Yeah.
and you go inside and get like the beer or hot tea or whatever you want to drink.
Yeah. It's cool.
And then you get the little costumes and take a picture. That's pretty cool.
It's cool. I've been twice as well, like each times we went on the tour. The second time I went with our friend Aaron, but I've only seen one of the Hobbit movies and none of the Lord of the Rings films. So I knew Aaron was like, "Oh yeah, come on, we'll go, let's go." And I went with like Isaac, Andy, Connor.
Why you haven't seen the Lord of the Rings? What's wrong
I
with
don't
you?
know. I just never like come around on them, I guess. But I went and I was kind of like, why am I going? Like, I've only seen one of these films. And I kind of got there and Aaron was so into it. And I was like, I'm going to make it my mission to just annoy Aaron at every opportunity. So I remember being on the tour and the guy's like showing us, oh, in the movie, this hut belonged to this guy. And I was like, oh, cool. And I turned to Aaron and I was like, where was Hagrid's house in relation to all of this? And he's like, what? Got proper angry and didn't talk to me for the rest of the tour. But he was fine at the end of it. I don't know if I told him I hadn't seen him before we went on the tour. Maybe that was the problem. What's the funniest film you've ever seen? It looks like you're about to say one and you thought of it and changed your mind.
I think I
Hall
like
Pass?
both.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is a good one. Owen Wilson and
I actually watched it
Jason
recently
Sudeikis.
too.
Yeah.
Because I was doing quarantine over here and then like Seagrave and Andrew went somewhere.
Yeah.
So I put on Hall Pass again. And he
Very
always, it's just the fact that 45-year-old man think that they're still cool and they still try, like they get it. They still have the moves, the Casanova moves. It's funny. It's funny. I liked it. It's one of the movies that I will always rewatch. Never get bored of it.
What's the saddest film you think you've ever seen?
Lion King.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, it's the only actually there's only 2 movies that actually made me cry.
Yes. Lion King and
The Lion King when Simba's father died, and both of them in the cartoon when I was a little and in the remake. You were there.
Yes, I remember.
And the other one I didn't put as one of my favorite movies, but I grew up with them. So it's kind of like in my heart is Toy Story.
Yes. Particularly the third one, I imagine.
The last movie that came out when Woody decides to stay. Have you seen the last one?
Oh, we went and saw Toy Story 4 in Canberra. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he decides to stay with
yeah, like I cried because it was like emotional saying this is the end. Like Buzz Lightyear and he's gonna go back to wherever he was, and then Woody's gonna stay. Like all the moments. I remember going to the cinema and watch all of those. Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
So I would not call it sad. It's just like them. For me, that's sad. That for me it's sad because it's made me cry a little bit.
Yes.
But I don't think I've seen other like a real sad movie unless I'm one with one of my ex-girlfriends something and she wants to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I usually fall asleep in those.
Sure. What's the scariest movie that you've ever seen?
Scariest movie.
Yeah.
That's
tough for you, I imagine. You've seen all of them.
A scariest movie for me is not because I jumped too much or something. It was because I was small, and I think was one of my first horror movies that I actually saw and put me into like the perspective to watch more horror movies. And I was little. I was 10 or something like that. Is the first It.
Okay.
Clown.
Yeah.
And obviously, but for my age, it did scare me.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of clowns, but it did freak me. It freaked me out a little bit.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the movie that made me jump the most, I think, was when I went to see it with you, Annabelle Creation.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple of good jump scares in there. I will not say that the movie scares me, no, but there was a couple of
frightening moments
in that movie.
I'll
speaking of It, I saw the remake
of
there's It, like the remake. I saw it because I like that movie too. The second part, chapter 2, there was a part that freaked me out a little bit. Is when the old lady goes to the kitchen. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah. It's
When
gross.
It goes to the kitchen, and the lights goes off, and you see
like
her
scurry across the.
I have to give that it was a good part. It's the only part of that.
When she runs, when she eventually attacks, doesn't she get like bigger, like really big? Yuck.
It was the only time that I didn't jump. I was like, whoa, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'll jump on to your next movie trailer. And your next movie is Armageddon.
So what's the verdict?
They'll do it. They've made a few requests, though.
Such as?
There's a few things here. Nothing really big. As an example, Oscar here has got some outstanding parking tickets. Wants them wiped off his record.
56 tickets in 7 states.
I'll tell him, Oscar. I got it.
Okay.
Noonan's got 2 women friends that he'd like to see made American citizens, no questions asked. Max would like you to bring back 8-track tapes. Not sure if that's going to work, but let's see what else. Chick wants a full week's Emperor's package at Caesar's Palace. Hey, you guys wouldn't be able to tell us who actually killed Kennedy, would you? Bear would like to stay at the White Horse.
White House. White House.
White House. Yeah, he'd like to stay in the Lincoln bedroom of the White House for the summer. Stuff like that.
Sure, I think we can take care of some of that.
Harry.
Yeah, one more thing. None of them want to pay taxes again. Ever.
It's awesome.
Isn't it?
I've seen it millions of times. I listen to the soundtrack millions of times. It's a good movie.
It is.
I really like it.
It is. It's pure entertainment. It is pure entertainment. It's
no one part of that movie that you get bored. There's an action, a little bit of like comedy for that time, for 1999.
Yeah.
Like some weird comedy, but weird jokes, but it was fun.
It's got a massive cast too.
Yes,
Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis, Owen Wilson, Steve Buscemi, Liv Tyler. Absolutely massive. How big that cast is, actually. Like, I always look at that one and kind of think that it's.
I think it's one of my, apart from Die Hard, it's one of like the movie that Bruce Willis, like, I liked his acting there. And I think it's one of the first times I saw Ben Affleck, because he was so skinny and young over there. I was like,
this is pre-Batman.
Like even the effects for that movie. I feel like they were really good for their time. Like there was not a time that you will see the spaceship going into the asteroid and stuff like that. And you know that sometimes you see the movies and then you can see, oh, that looks fake. Like it was never in that, like especially for that time, like 1999. It's not like we were wow and special effects or anything like that.
It's cool. And this one, you kind of brought it up before, but it has your favorite soundtrack, which is largely by Aerosmith, which is a real standout too. What is the name of the main song? I can hear the words, but I cannot think of the name.
I don't want to miss a thing, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the main.
And then I didn't realize until I knew of them both. I didn't realize their relation, but Liv Tyler stars in the movie, and her dad is Steve Tyler, the lead singer of the band, which I thought was pretty cool. And another interesting fact I actually found out about this one, one of the credited writers on this film is J.J. Abrams.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, what? I like double took it. I was like, is there two J.J. Abrams? But it's the guy. and yeah, is one of the writers. But unreal. The movie's editing is so fast that the average cut between shots occurs approximately every 1.5 seconds or every 36 frames. It's very quick. There's a lot of shots in this movie. And at the time the movie was made, it was the most expensive movie.
Yes, I remember.
$135 million was spent to make this one, which I think is mental. And
it's a classic movie. Like
100%
everyone, even the new generation, like the 20s, the 19-year-old 20s. Have you seen Armageddon? I would say like a good 80% of them would say yes, or they know about that movie.
Yeah. And this is kind of famously directed by Michael Bay, who has gone on to make things like Transformers, The Island, and a handful of other things that are really good. I really like his films. But I always think, like, even though he's done Transformers, I think he will remake one of his own films, and I think it's going to be this one. I think eventually he will remake his own film, and I think this would be the one he would remake. He's done Bad Boys and stuff, I know, as well, but I think if he ever remade his own film, it would be this one.
Well, hopefully, I mean, it's a classic now. I like it the way it is. Usually the remakes are not very...
Yeah. They don't improve. But I think that'll be the case. And then Michael Bay has a cameo in the film as well. At the start of the film, he's one of the NASA scientists that puts a map or some images of the asteroid on a table. He kind of moves really quickly in a chair, slaps a map down, and that's him.
Oh, yeah, hold on. I didn't even notice.
Yes, there you go.
Like, I think it's really fast that the only thing you see is just like the pictures of the table.
Probably.
At that point.
I'll move on again. We'll go to some other questions. Do you watch films, or do you take notice of films that win awards or get good reviews? Like, is good reviews or award-winning films or nominated ones an indication to you of something that you might like?
I do take note. Like, I see which like everyone does. I don't know everyone, but like I do. Like, I see the critics, for example, how they talk about a movie, criticize a movie or something like that. Sure. And I see if it's not like a movie that I go and see in the cinema or something like that for X reason, like I didn't have time or I didn't hear about the movie or something like that. And then I start hearing on the internet later on going like, oh, this movie has a really good critics and it's a really good movie, won an award and stuff like that. Then I go and rent it or see if it's on Amazon Prime or Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, HBO Max, and watch it, see if I like it or not. Just, I don't listen a lot about the critics, like, because there's a lot of movies that I like that the critics just completely destroy the movie. They, oh, this is horrible, blah, 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 blah. But everyone have their own opinion. Yeah. Like, if they don't like it, that's fair enough. I'm still going to watch the movie and I like it. They usually are the ones with like the comics and like the superhero movies. And what was the recent one? There was one famous that everyone knows now. Is like the Justice League fiasco, like the first one, like the one that Snyder couldn't finish for obvious reasons. Then Josh Whedon, what's his name? The guy that did Avengers came and did it, and some of the critics were saying, "Oh, it's a good." I don't know if they said it was good because it was a Warner and it was Josh Whedon that did the movie. In my personal opinion, it destroyed the movie. And then Warner tried to, well, they didn't try, completely buried the movie, and then Snyder's cut came out, and actually we saw it because Andrew didn't see it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the critics was like the same, no? Oh, it's too long. Oh, it does answer some questions, but it's not as good and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then I watched the movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? It answers every single question. Sure. It actually makes sense. Like, it is a good movie. I liked it. Of course, it's not like, wow, it's not Endgame or something like that, but it's a DC dark
Yeah.
movie, and it's really good because Snyder does, in my personal opinion, is one of my favorite directors. He makes art in his movies. Like, he does really good movies. Yeah, he has this weird looking, he always keeps the same type of thing, but he's a good director.
Yes.
And then what happened? It's a success.
Yes.
Like, HBO Max became what it is now because of that movie. And even Warner tried to still deny it. Even they came and said, yeah, we screw up, like, but there's nothing we can do. We're still gonna bury it. So that's why I do take note of the critics. I do see what they say. That will give me a little bit more of like how you say, I have 3 movies, and if the critics talk about one specific movie being good or bad, it will caught my attention. So say, oh, like, I want to see it to see if the critics are right or not, like what they talk about. And then,
what's a movie that you can't believe you still haven't seen?
I'm like you. I go to the cinemas all the time. I watch movies all the time. So I don't think I have a movie that I haven't seen. Hold on, let me see. Yeah.
I think you see most things you want to see.
The Dawn came out yesterday, so I am.
What came out yesterday?
The Dune one, I think it is.
Oh, Dune. Yes. The sci-fi.
So I haven't seen that one.
yeah. We don't get that for a couple more weeks over here yet. Still, so you're ahead of us. What's a movie that you really enjoyed, but you've rewatched it recently and your opinion has changed?
I don't. If I liked a movie, I think I would still like it.
What movie surprised you the most? You went in kind of seeing it with no expectations, but you left really glad that you had actually seen it.
And there was actually a movie in the recent. Actually, but I cannot say it because it's a recent movie, and I can't spoil it. It's the newest James Bond.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that. It's No Time to Die.
Yeah, I went in having one mentality, like saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a good movie." It is a good movie. It surprised me the way that they finish it.
Sure. Okay.
I cannot say that. I know there's a lot of people here that haven't seen it because it just came out. You haven't seen it because it doesn't come out in it. So
yeah.
Well, I do recommend anyone that's listening to this, if you have the chance to see the new James Bond, go and watch it. I love that movie. It's a good movie.
Very good. What's a movie that you've seen and you really enjoyed it, but just seeing it the once was enough? Like, you don't think that'll be one you'll come back to continue rewatching?
I think we have this conversation before, the Transformers.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I liked it. It was a big hit. It's a blockbuster, but it wasn't that for me that much. I like it. I'm not criticizing it. They were good.
Yeah.
It's just it will not be my first choice to rewatch it again. Like if I'm in Netflix and it's like, oh, there's the Transformers here, but then I have other options, I probably will go to the other option. It was just too much. I don't know. I did like it and everything. Like the story was good, like the effects and everything. It was too much.
Yeah.
It's too much robots and explosions and it's just.
Sure.
And there's another one that is the same. It's just like the Fast and Furious. I don't hate them. Yeah. I go and see them because they that's what they are. It's just like a hit. That's a blockbuster movie. Once you see it once, that's it. You forget about it. Yeah. Like you don't see, I don't know, cars like driving in the middle of the ocean or like in space or in a submarine and stuff like that. I'm actually surprised that they're still making those movies. But
there's 2 more to go.
It's those ones that I've seen them all because it's one of those that you have to go and see it. It's a blockbuster. It has famous actors in there. It's a good movie, but I will never see it again. Sure. Once I watch it, that's it.
That's it.
Boom.
That's enough.
It's in my list of seeing. I never
looked at it again.
Very much. At least that I'm with a group and they want to see one of the first Fast and Furious or something like that. Yeah. And I have to watch it, but then I watch it. I don't mind it. Me personally, no.
Okay. We'll move on again. We'll go to your last movie trailer before the feature film. And this one is The Dark Knight.
made it.
Stay in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment. I only have one question. Where is Harvey Dent? You know where Harvey is? You know who he is? Hands up, pretty boy.
Best
movie,
superhero movie ever.
yes.
I don't care about those Marvel geeks over there. Batman is the best superhero, and the Dark Knight and the Joker in that movie is the best of the best.
Yeah.
No Endgame, no Infinity Wars, no Spider-Man, no nothing about Iron Man. That's the best movie of superhero.
It's cool. This, I think, has, just of movies even, I think this has the best opening to a movie. I think this is the best opening scene of a film. I think it's so clever, so well done, just really good.
I was speechless when I saw the movie. Like the Joker. There will never be a better Joker. Like I've seen the Joker, like the one that they came out.
Yeah,
it was a good movie. I really do like it. Like it was a different one. Suicide Squad Joker, Jared Leto, I think it is. Like I like that Joker because it's in his way, but
it's
no
not the
one.
same. Yeah, it's not even close.
Don't even get close to this Joker. It's like this, and I don't think there's ever gonna be a better Joker than that. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take some years.
This was filmed with IMAX cameras too, and shown on IMAX screens. Did you ever were you lucky enough to see the film that way in IMAX? Did you ever get to see it there?
Yeah, in the cinema.
Yeah,
the IMAX. We went to where was it? I honestly don't. I think I watched it in Mexico.
Sure.
Or no, it was on tour. I think it's in the UK. There's one cinema that they have this 4DTX. Like you sit down and they do like effects and stuff like that. I watched that movie. Like it was the big IMAX, but with some of the effects, so like you can hear right here, like the explosion, especially the explosion of the hospital.
Sure.
Yeah, like it was good.
Very
like
cool.
The chair shake and stuff like that. It was a good one.
Yeah. No, it was really good. I saw this at the movies, and I probably nearly missed it because I remember seeing this when it was almost finished, and after I saw it I was like, geez, I'm glad I saw this at the movies. It was brilliant. Like just seeing it so big and loud, and like I think if this movie was something you saw or experienced for the first time on your TV, you kind of did yourself a disservice by seeing it that way. I think it really benefited from being seen on a big scale like that. It's great. Heath Ledger is unreal in it. And Christian Bale as Batman is brilliant too. I think it's really good.
I have to give credit to the Dark Knight Rises, like Bane.
Yeah.
Because the last movie I went to watch was Venom, and it's like the same actor.
Tom Hardy.
And, it is
a good.
It's a good part. It's a good villain. Like they did that Bane too, but obviously I prefer the Joker. Like it's one of my all-time favorite heroes, Batman, and the enemy, like his enemy or his best friend, like they say, the Joker is just
it's unreal.
And the whole reason I play all the Arkham games, like just because of the Batman and Joker. All the graphic novels.
This is a sequel to the Batman Begins, which came out in 2005. This one came out in 2008. And in 6 days, The Dark Knight made more money than the entire domestic run of Batman Begins did in 2005.
I could believe it. Like it's just
it's amazing. And then, so as we were just saying before too, the film is filmed in IMAX. And during the scene where the Joker is in the semi-trailer, underneath the tunnel, there was only 4 IMAX cameras in the world, and that scene is filmed in IMAX. And by the time that scene had finished filming, there was only 3 IMAX cameras left in the world. They destroyed one, which I thought was pretty clever. I never got to see this one in IMAX, unfortunately, but I did see The Dark Knight Rises, and I really wish I had the opportunity to see this one there, because I think it would have been incredible to see it that way.
The director, like Christopher Nolan, is again is my favorite director. Like every single movie that he done, I love it. Like
they're so good.
There's not been a movie that I don't like.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I think he's really, and he's about seeing it in the cinema too. Like all these movies are made with that in mind, which I think is awesome too. Who plays Narco in the biopic of Jonathan Roots?
What do you mean?
Who plays you in the movie about your life?
Like, I don't know. Another Mexican guy? Another Minglish? Another Minglish? English?
Sorry, I should have explained at the top of the episode. Yes, the accent you're hearing is a very fine mix of Mexican and English.
Yeah.
So if you're hearing this on a podcast, I'm sorry, we don't know.
It's British English with 16 years working in an American company. So a lot of the American slang is stick. And obviously my Mexican Spanish
there
accent.
too. Yes. So I apologize to our podcast listeners who do not have subtitles turned on. But if you're on YouTube, good luck. Try lip reading, I guess. What's your favorite character from any? I think we kind of maybe just said it, but do you have a favorite character from cinema? Any movie ever, your favorite character?
Batman and the Joker.
Thought so. And I was going to ask you favorite filmmaker, but you were just saying Christopher Nolan. Do you have any others? I think we have spoken about this before, and you had like James Wan, who is the director of like the Conjuring films and stuff too, is a big one for you.
Like Christopher Nolan is the all top one. I watch all the movies that come on. Snyder is another one that I've seen all of his movies and stuff like that. Horror movies, James will be one, but I like the story or the writing and some of the movies of Guillermo del Toro. His movies, like sometimes he produces or sometimes he directs, and he usually he's a Spanish horror movie fan, so it's kind of like because there's a new movie coming out. I don't think he's directing it, but he produced it.
Is it Nightmare Alley or something? Or?
Sorry?
Nightmare Alley? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it's Antlers or something like that.
Yeah.
I've been seeing the trailer and I'm like desperate to watch it. It hasn't come out.
Yeah.
But it's produced. I think it's produced by him. It is produced by him at least. Yeah. I don't know if he's directing it. Sure. But he usually, when he writes a movie or something like that, he's good.
Involved, yeah. Good. Have you seen the new James Wan film, Malignant? Have you seen that one yet?
No,
not yet.
I need to see it. Like I was gonna go and see it in Mexico before I came to the UK with my brother. Yeah. And we actually went to the cinema, and there were no tickets left, and they only have like one function a night. Yeah, it's a horror movie, so they put it at night, only one. Yeah. So we finished ending watching the Chinese Marvel one. What's the name?
Shang-Chi.
It was a good movie. I liked it. I liked that they brought a lot of like Chinese, I'm assuming it's Chinese culture. But we were supposed to go and watch that one.
See that one. Do you have a film or films that you watch on special occasions, like Christmas, birthdays, things like that?
Christmas and any point.
Oh, sorry, everyone. That was just a special cameo by our friend Daniel Seagrave. Is he going to come back and put himself on camera? We've been waiting for this. We're hoping it would happen all episode.
You should wave. You should wave.
The man.
Yes, in Christmas, I think every single Christmas I watch this movie, not because I want to watch it. I like it, but I always finish ending watching it because we're always on tour, and skaters or friends, everyone always wants to watch this movie. It was two movies actually. Home Alone Home Alone. So like I like
Yep.
it, and actually we were like literally me and Sigrid, we saw something in Amazon that Lego just made a Home Alone set, that the whole house.
Yes. Yeah.
So we were talking about, and the other one is a movie that I don't like. I
Yeah.
don't see funny, and everyone loves it. I think it's Elf. No, Elf. It's
Yes, the Will Ferrell one.
Elf is like the guy that is grown up. Yeah, Phil Harrell or whatever his
Will
name
Ferrell.
is.
Yeah, if it's Elf, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't. Everyone
not
loves that movie.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that movie, but I just don't. I don't see.
You
I don't
see
like
the
it.
appeal. Yeah. Fair enough.
Obviously, Halloween every single day. I try to watch a movie, or at least in YouTube, watch some weird. Oh, I saw this ghost over here.
Sure.
Season.
Yeah.
I think that's the only 2 seasons that you watch movie, because all the rest you just don't. You just watch
anytime.
movie.
Yeah. What film do you think has the best ending?
Well, I like the ending on The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That he blames, like he puts the blame on him, the reputation of
Harvey Dent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I like that. But one of my, I don't know, I never seen a movie like that, because it doesn't exist. Usually when you make a movie, it's a happy ending or something like that. But I would really love to see a movie when the bad guys win.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Perhaps Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, but they didn't win. They just split it in 2 parts. So
it was a 5-year victory.
If they would have stayed like that, that would be the best ending. But no, now they brought up multiverse and time travel and stuff like that. So because I preferred Infinity Wars than Endgame. I think you and me have a discussion about it.
Yes,
you're like obsessed with Endgame, and I'm like, it's a good movie, but I prefer Infinity Wars because it's the way that end and stuff like that. It's not a good ending. It's good ending, but it's not. I don't know the way that people see it, like the perfect storm.
Okay. Yeah.
That they all die. Obviously, none of them it comes back. Movies like that I like because it puts like the reality into perspective. Like because every single movie is all the way bad. They're fighting for their life and stuff like that. But at the last minute, some magical miracle happens and you overcome all the problems and everyone lives happy ever after. When in real life, it's a 50-50 chance. So it's good to see a movie that have a real ending. Like, okay, it sucks. The good guys didn't win or the guy didn't survive or something like that. But it finished. The ending was realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Not a lot of movies that they do that.
The time has come. We will move on to your main feature, the feature film, the movie we've come to see today. It is Gladiator.
All you do is kill, kill, kill. God, they want a butcher, they want a hero. We want them to keep coming back. So don't just hack them to pieces. Remember, you are an entertainer.
So entertain!
For me, it's the best movie I ever seen.
Yeah.
I grew up, well, not grew up, but like I was still in high school or middle school, or like at the end of middle school, watching that movie. It was a long one. There was a lot of parts. For me, that brought my attention. Like the amazing part is at the beginning when they fighting like the barbarians and like somewhere in Germany, I think, or somewhere, I don't know. I think it was in Germany, right? Yeah. Like Russell Crowe was
did it for you.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. I like a lot of his movies. Everything that built up, like you see step by step how he built up to get his revenge. Even if and that was a good ending too. That was a really good ending. They both died, but he managed to get his revenge. Yeah. It's a good movie. It's a fantastic movie. the battle scenes in the Coliseum, like the way that he grabbed his gladiators and just put them in shape so they can survive the battles and stuff like that. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. And that movie, at least I watch it once every year, twice every year.
Sure.
Like it's something that I always watch. And his soundtrack too is good.
Yeah. Is this one you saw at the movies?
Hans Zimmer.
It is. That's one of the things I had. One of the trivia bits I had for you. It's actually one of the best-selling movie score soundtracks of all time, and it is a Hans Zimmer score.
It's a Hans Zimmer Gladiator. Yeah.
Is this one you saw at the movies? Like, did you see this one on the big screen? Yeah.
I saw it in the movies. Yeah.
Just
I went with my dad because my dad wanted to watch the movie. I was in the middle of the teenage time, like I didn't care about. Wasn't that I need to see the movie and stuff like that. Well, my dad wanted to go to the cinema with my parents. He really wanted to see Gladiator, so I went with him. Well, I went with my mom and dad. Wow, I was like, I really like it.
Yeah.
I mean, like my teenage days that just didn't care about any of that. It put I don't know. It stayed on me. It stayed on me.
This has got a really famous story of an actor dying during the production of the film. Oliver Reed died 3 weeks before principal photography ended. And because the character was so kind of, critical to the story of the film, a clause in the movie's insurance contract would allow the filmmakers to reshoot all of his scenes with another actor. At the expense of the insurer at about $25 million. They would have been granted to redo it. However, most of the actors and the crew were exhausted from the kind of really punishing schedule that the film had, that they decided to not cut him and replace him and instead use a body double and CGI to complete the character for the remaining on-screen scenes that he hadn't yet shot. So they went to a lot of effort to create a CG double and do some trick photography to best include him.
They did a good job.
Yeah, it still really holds up if you watch it now as well, which is kind of incredible.
Yeah, even now, like a 2000 movie, it still looks good. Yeah, like I think if people will go and watch it right now, like if they come out in a cinema or something like that and people go and watch it, they would not say, oh, it's a 2000 movie. Okay, it will not be a 2021 movie, but at least will look like a good 2015, something like that.
Yeah, it would fit in
really
quite easily.
Well made.
And they made over 27,000 pieces of armor for costumes and stuff in the film, which is madness. Should be a museum just for the artifacts and the props they made for this one, I think. Narco, I have 2 more things for you. What's the I think we kind of just said it. The next movie you're really looking forward to seeing up on the big screen? It's the Eternals, did you say before? I think
the Eternals. I think that would be. It's not like I'm excited to. I am excited, but I think with Secret, like my friends group, like I think that's the one that we're gonna go and watch when it comes out.
The movies, yeah, for sure.
It's something that a lot of people will go, and I want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm more excited in December for Spider-Man. Yes. I really want to see that after I saw the trailer and after,
some things you saw on the internet perhaps and looked into, yes. This is the last thing I have for you. I used one of your top 4 movies and I trawled the depths of the internet to find a 1-star review for one of your movies. And I took out all the references to what movie it might be or would give away what movie it is. So I'm going to read you this review. I want to see if you can work out what movie it might be talking about and then defend it from this scathing 1-star review.
Okay.
The title of this review is The Best Movie in Years for Me to Poop On. I saw the trailer for this and some early reviews, almost exclusively rave reviews, and got excited for a good, well-made film. What I got was the most boring movie I have ever seen in a theater for quite some time. Initially, I gave the film the benefit of the doubt and a lot of people liked this, so it must be getting interesting sooner or later. About 45 minutes into the film, I realized it wasn't going to be getting any better. I first looked at my watch and at that point proceeded to do so for at least the next 10 minutes until the end of the film, every 10 minutes. I hoped the film reel would catch fire to save me from having to watch the last hour, but alas, it did not, and I was forced to watch this film until the end. Oh, and none of the sandals look any good. What film is this?
None of the sandals. They have to be the Gladiator.
Yes. None of the sandals looked good to this guy. They weren't Birkenstocks, and he was having none of it by the sound of it, so it was no good to him.
What a moped.
Absolutely perfect.
Like, this is what I don't like about people. Like, people just want like action, 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 action. You cannot just come to a movie expect. There have to be some story into, like, something to lead you into the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so. If you want to see that, just go to YouTube and put best moments of movies, whatever year, 2000. And then, you have an hour and a half of the best parts of every movie in 2000. And then you call it a day.
Yeah.
I mean, what an idiot. Sorry.
No, perfect. I think you said it absolutely correctly. What a muppet. That's good.
It's like, you have to,
Yeah. It's good. All right, Narco, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us and doing an episode with us. I hope you had some fun. It was good talking to you about movies again. It always is. If people disagree with your opinions on movies, what social media platforms can they find you to abuse you on now? I assume some of the Marvel and DC fans might come after you after this.
Instagram.
I'll put some links to Narco's Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook. Instagram is the one I go in. J Roots.
Yes, that's the one.
That's it. I think that's the only ones I don't do. I have Twitter, but I never use it.
Never use it. Same here.
Snapchat, I had it, but I deleted it because
It's the worst. It is the worst. I
find
still,
that yesterday that
like,
everyone in the UK uses Snapchat.
Oh my goodness. It's the worst. The worst one. But
so Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, WhatsApp, but I'm not going to give you my actual number.
No, do not do that. If you actually, before you go, if we can just get your bank details as well, please, that'd be really helpful as well. If we can get your bank details. No, this was good fun, man. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, man.
See you. And I'm looking for all the Marvel comments.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Bottomless Popcorn. For bonus content, news, and upcoming guests, follow us on Instagram at Bottomless Popcorn Pod. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you'd like to contact the show, you can email us at bottomlesspopcornpod@gmail.com. And be sure to leave a review of your own favorite film wherever you listen to podcasts.